This machine to my left and my right are the Marcy Stack Gym. I call it the multi-gym because it can do pretty much every movement you can think of. I've had this model for about 2 years now, and I recently got this 8-10-10 model that I'm going to be doing a review and comparing from the previous model to see if some of the things that I've talked about in my workout videos have been addressed, and to see what they've upgraded based on other people's feedback. These two machines practically do the same thing, but you can see that the one on my right is a lot bigger, and just from measuring roughly here on my toes, we have about 86 inches, okay? And this is the smaller model. Again, I use this in my garage and the basement, and it's about 70, well, let's just say 79 inches or so, 78, 79 inches, which is pretty good. If I step back here, the plates are wider. That means that you get more room to do your exercises in terms of the contraction. This one is a little bit taller, so you only get this much space. That was one of my big concerns with the multi-gym, but they've addressed that. And everything else pretty much looks the same. The accessories that came with this, to the top, there's the straight bar. Now, I complained about this version when I first made my review, but in this newer update, you get a rotating bar, and that's really good for not only your back, but your biceps, your triceps, exercises where your wrist is gonna turn as you do the movement. Additionally, you have a smaller bar here. It does rotate as well. That's perfect for your biceps, and again, your triceps. And then the ankle straps, the same as always. You finally get one single handle. So off the bat, you have all of the accessories that you would need to use the exercises on this multi-gym versus having to buy additional accessories. So I have Jay on the older model, and he's gonna demonstrate some of the changes that have been upgraded with this newer model. We're first gonna talk about the pad for doing biceps. Now, with this one, they chose to go with a square frame and a locking mechanism that that not only screws in, it also locks. Oh wow, that's tough. Yeah, locks back and forth. And that one, it's circular. So one of the issues we had is the pad always turning around. When you're doing your biceps curls on the pad, they allow a little groove on this model so that the pulley or the cable can come straight up. But this one, there's nothing there, and really you don't get as good of a contraction on biceps on that pad as you would here. Now, if you're using just dumbbells or barbells, it's going to be the same thing. But if you plan on using the cables, yeah, this one actually wins by far. Next, we're going to move on to the chest press. Now, top here, you see a big plate, and you have two bars running up versus one circular bar going up with that. What this does is it allows the chest press to be a lot more stable, and so when you're pressing, there's very little movement from left to right. You can go ahead and demonstrate here, Jay. And so with this one, I'm trying to twist it, and I can't. Jay, try to twist left to right. That one moves way too much, and you don't notice it at first, but after working out for a while, you're gonna reach a point where you will have one side of your chest stronger than the other side. I noticed that when I was bench pressing, like the bar was like this, and that's because I spent too much time on the chest press, and that just wasn't feasible. Now, one thing though that this doesn't do is this machine, you can do one-handed chest press, but with this one, you really can't. Here, go ahead and press with one hand, Jay. So both move together, but with this one, they have a mechanism where you can't really do that, but you still do get the ability to do the chest flies with this one. So it's kind of integrated as one part, but to do the chest flies on this model, you have to move a pin, put it up top here to finally be able to do a chest fly with that. And I always complain about that, not being able to contract fully, but this one does feel a lot smoother to operate, and Jay can attest to that as well. We test this out a lot of hours over the past week, even though it's hot, and it's been great. So we're gonna now move on to the leg extensions and the leg curl. So to talk about the leg developer, I need to first explain the differences in the seating. Now this model, if you haven't noticed yet, the bench laying slightly down, that's gonna be amazing for leg extensions, versus the other one, it's just straight. And when you're doing your leg extensions, you don't get a good contraction in your muscles. So Jay is gonna show you that in a second here. I'm on this other machine. Now you notice how my butt is down, my knees are up. So coming in to contract the muscles on this one feels a lot more like an actual leg extension equipment versus what the other model. Oh my God, is that a spider? Yeah, so leg extensions are pretty good. We're gonna now show you the leg curl. Now with that one, you just have to hop on it and curl your leg backward. But with this model, because you have a square plate here that allows the pulley or the pendulum part to be more stable, you can't really do traditional leg curl. So for you to get a good leg curl on the newer model, you are actually better off using the ankle strap and then using this plate here to rest your quads to be able to get good contraction. There we go. All right. So yep, you get a good contraction, which is pretty good. Now that brings us to the point that what you just saw earlier. Now, one of the small issues that I have noticed is the pulley here. If you're not careful in watching how you pull this out, it can get stuck because this is still plastic. I might end up replacing this one with a metal one. The same issue is there too. In fact, it's so bad with that one that when Jay and I were working out, we ended up stripping the rubber off the cable, and now we have an exposed cable here after 2 years of use, and this needs replaced pretty bad. So that issue still stands. And then for the actual base plate, you have a base plate here for standing on versus not having one. This is great when you're going very heavy on the weight stack and you need to do exercises like squats or even RDLs where we know your legs are going to be stronger than your upper body, and this allows the machine to stay stable while you're doing those exercises. One more use for the plate is, and I don't think this was intended, but if you face it up, you can use this as a footrest to do your back exercises. Now, I probably wouldn't do that because the pulley itself is going to be rubbing against this metal bar here. So for this to be good, you're probably going to have to be sitting on a bench in a position where this is coming up at an angle rather than coming straight towards you if you're sitting on the floor. Above us is the pulley for lat pulldown. So I want to demonstrate to you the differences between these two models. Just from sitting and reaching up, I actually have to stand up off my seat to be able to reach the weight versus the other one where you just from reaching up, it's not that far up, and even when coming down and then releasing the weight, with this model you get a much better stretch in your lats than you do with the other model that Jay is on. But as far as contraction, they do feel the same. You just get that extra bit of movement there in the newer model. And this is really good for those of you who are taller. Now Jay's about 6 foot and he finds that acceptable. With here, it's even better. And so I would say if you're about 6'5", this is probably still good for you, considering the fact that a lot of people have been asking me if they can get a good contraction on this equipment, and I have to tell them if you're above 6 foot, the contraction for your lats is not that great. But when you're on this machine, and then considering the fact that you might lean at some point, you now have this much extra space from here to here to work with in order to get a good contraction on your back exercises. And of course, both machines can perform the very same way if you're doing the triceps from the top cable. And if you are shorter or taller, they do offer that extension chain here. And then so basically what we do is, when we're doing an exercise that requires this bar to be further down, instead of pulling it all the way down to get started to do the movement, we use the chain to get to the point where we have to, and then we do the contraction. So the machine covers most contractions if you use the chain. If not, then you're gonna get into the issue where you're hitting the top of the pulley, and if you do it long enough, there's a chance that the bar might get stuck at the top there, and then you're gonna have to shimmy it out and work with that. But as far as that goes, triceps is the same. Lat pull downs, definitely prefer this model versus the other one. And then there's a bonus feature that this one has. Now, these two knobs pull out, allowing the handles to move back, which means that you can now work on your upper back using the newer model. And if this is too far in, guess what? There it is. Okay, so this slides back and forth. So coming in now, you can perform the chest supported row to target, again, just the upper back. If you want to do your lower back, use the lower pulley and pull that in lower, but that's a good movement. And then even for chest, in cases where you want to get a bigger contraction on your chest muscles while you're using this, if you pull the plate up, now you can go in deeper because your hands are down to where your chest are. And coming in, you get way more of a stretch on your chest than you would with that sitting back and you're like starting here and trying to press forward. So those are all of the major changes that have been made to the Marcy Stack Gym. So one of the things that Jay and I have discovered with this machine is if you have the chain attached to your cable and you put the arms back and you have the plate up for the bicep curl, you can now perform your triceps on this machine, and it feels just as good as those tricep extension machines that you might find at a commercial gym. Now this variation is targeting your your upper triceps, or your lower triceps where your elbow is, versus you standing up and facing the machine. This variation here is targeting that top part of the tricep where the horseshoe is. So now you can do both of those, and the benefit of using the tricep for your lower triceps on this is that for those of you who have elbow pain, this is very easy on your joint, and so you can still work out that area. And over time, if you keep the weight light and you do a lot of reps, you can then allow blood to flow through there. Now Jay will have to come up with different exercises with me as we use this, and so make sure you check out our workout videos on the channel. We've been using primarily the older model, but now that we have this newer model, we're going to incorporate this into our workout. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a comment below. Let us know if you missed anything about this machine. Oh yes, the ratio for the pulley. 1 second. If you're wondering about the ratio for the pulley, now this is a 150-pound stack. This is a 300-pound stack. And for the weight ratios that you would get, now at the for the back press, you have 280 pounds, which is this here. So the maximum this can go up to is 280 pounds. For your chest press, when you're having it like how this is going to be 260 pounds for the max. For the chest flies, when you're doing these movements, the maximum you'll ever feel is 96 pounds. And then for the lat pull down, so up top here, the maximum weight is 210 pounds. And then for the lower pulley, whether it's leg extensions, leg curl, the maximum you'll ever feel is 215 pounds. If you just count the holes and do the math and divide it, you're gonna get an idea of where each stack is. So I can see why they didn't put any markers on there, because each pulley is going to have a different ratio on your muscles, and you don't want to be confused when you're trying to do exercise and you're like, man, why is it so heavy? The ratio didn't add up. So that's good, and it's right here. I can show you on the screen, but it's awesome. This model didn't come with one, and if it did, I think I lost the sheet, but I don't remember it coming with one of those. So yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed that. But and listen, if you enjoyed this video, let us know. Leave a comment. If we missed anything, let us know as well, and we can answer that in a YouTube Shorts or even in the comment section. Write a pretty nice description for you. And make sure you check out our other videos. We do workout videos on the Marcy Gym. We do dumbbells. We do kettlebells. And if you're going to get a multi-gym like this, or even a model like this one, you can get this used on Facebook, most places for $150, new for like $400, and this is about $900 new. There might be some used model up there for you. Make sure you check those second sale websites, and also try to get yourself kettlebells, dumbbells if you're buying this. That way you will have everything you need do a full body workout. Let us know again what you think about this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully you work out with us if you have dumbbells or kettlebells or even a multi-gym.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing you work out and letting me know your progress over time.
Thank you.